What's going on, y'all? It's J Smo Reviews here, back at it again with another video, man. Bringing you guys another review, obviously here for Bars Over Politics drops. Earlier did the one-rounders, T-Top and Jerry, and I wanted to give one more review before the day is out. I do want to review all 5 battles, but especially with Power Moves coming up, some of the content I have for that, I don't want to post like 3 videos in a day, not really giving anyone chance to watch it, so this will be the last review for today, which is Chef Trez versus Tay-Rock. Wanted to talk about this one. This was probably the most extreme result anyone heard about from in the building. People were claiming that Chef Trez won clear. Not just clear, there was people saying it was a 30. And obviously with the climate around Tay-Rock's name right now, where he is in the Cody discussion, where he's just still one of the biggest stars. The rivalry with him and Easy, there's just been so much conversation around his name. And I said every battle would have more pressure for him closing the year because of that rise in conversation. So it's my job. Go in here, watch the battle twice now I have, and I do have my bar for bar review here to tell you guys what the result is. So without further ado, let's get right into the first round. So it starts off on Rock in the first round, and off rip, we talked about, the situation, talking shit with Easy. Easy and Remy shot in the first bar, talking about, I don't mind shooting a fake friend. It would be easy to reminisce on that shot. So right off rip, then it's to the material towards Chef, and I'm not gonna lie. This Rock first, even with something that happens later in this battle, this is, in my opinion, his weakest round of the battle. He gets into some bars. I don't want to count it out early. Kind of talks a little bit about, the cave falling apart from his perspective. Kind of threw a little shot at Av. Like, Av left to go chase EFB. I'm sure that they're having a little bit of competition right now, considering their years, right? So I noticed that. And then he said, let's see what the Chef dishes out. It was a lot of lead up to, like, a cool bar. Smoke beside Chef, like Snoop and Martha, pocket leading up to that. Thought that was cool. What does a homeless bum have in common with the Chef? Panhandling. I thought that was actually pretty clever. And then it's just like, listen, Rock's rapping ability is at 100, and it's been that way for a few years now. This structurally, and the way it's rapped, like, it's good to hear. Like, he's rapping good, but I just don't. Bar for bar, there wasn't like a lot in that middle section. Dare I say, I thought it was kind of like a dry spot. But then he gets into the Chef should know when I reach my boiling point. I like that. And then by far, he had another pocket, but this led up to talking about chopping up Chef. He said what's left won't be right, and it won't be right what's left. The way he built up to that was a haymaker. I thought that was the peak of the round. And then he ends off with a little current event bar. Like Stiz, hit him like Stiz did Fetty and give him the noodle legs, which obviously, considering what happened on the boxing event the day before, or what there was of a boxing event, that's gonna hit in the building. But then it's on Trez in the first bar, bro. I don't even know if it was a rebuttal technically. I could be remembering it wrong, but I'm talking about their history in Cave Gang, and he said, I'm the one that had the guns around Rock like Gilbert Arenas. That was fire. I mean, a perfect way to open up his first. And then another kind of personal tailored bar here. You ain't open the door for, don't say you opened the door for me. I wasn't in New York, referring to the Briz fight, right? So now kind of angle punching at Rock a little. And then he has talking about his investment in the cave. So it's really counter-written beautifully to the way Rock opened his first. And he said, I was so invested in the cave, I got tunnel vision. That is fire. And I've been talking about Chef Trez, obviously, as always, a battler, I talk about him a lot, but especially since this channel started around 2023, the guy placed top 3 last year, and I think people think rebuttals and people think pen, right? Like, that's the two things that they emphasize, but this is an example of how much of an all-around battler he is. We don't give people credit for that after years. Once they're known for something, we don't let them add that third or 3 or 4 more things and kind of acknowledge that. I thought Trez, the way that he opened, like with an approach, with something tailored, was a fantastic start to the round. Then from there, he has the Rock, a beam on him. Rock got a little shine like a birthstone. I thought that was fire. He has, talking about round length, Rock don't come in here rapping 10 minutes. It's supposed to be 2 230s, but I got 5 5.6s and 308s. So that whole kind of caliber scheme, a bullet scheme, I thought that was fire. Then he gets in another angle at Rock, talking about recently the photo of League being spelled wrong on his chain, Ultimate Rap League. And then he said, my jeweler couldn't have done that. Forget a spell check. I would have had my semi-auto correct it. I thought that was fire. Hypothetically, shooting your jeweler is a crazy thing to do. But obviously the bar was a haymaker. Beat Rock upside the head like an off the heezy. That was crazy for the Hoopers. Throw the ball off the forehead. these clips nonstop, like they add free, do or die. Then he's got this whole concept. Yeah, it was this like do or die. Somebody will get shot for Rock, and it led up all into how are you going to be the team leader, but you won't shoot for captain. All the basketball shit, and obviously I know Trez is one of not just the better hoopers in the culture, but basketball knowledge-wise reliable, and I do not say that about a lot of people. I've seen some horrible fucking basketball takes in this culture. I trust a lot of what Trez says, and then also the man writes really good basketball bars. I remember versus Kid Chaos earlier this year, he had a point like this, 3 or 4 like really good, like a good basketball concept. So I love that. And then he had a late round rebuttal. Instead of rebuttaling at the beginning, he rebuttals at the end to the boiling point and panhandling bars and says, they forget the boiling point and panhandle. What are you going to do when I cast iron? Amazing rebuttal, layered, actually a really good double meaning to respond, and doing it mid to late round like that. There is no discussion in this first round. It is not just like 1-0 Trez clear. It is like the largest margin of the battle clear and a super, statement 1-0 lead to start the battle. And now back on Rock to start the second. And what's funny is that this is inverse from his first. I kind of was rough on his first, right? I thought it was his weakest round. I think his second is his strongest round. I mean, it actually just flat out is. It started rough, though, with a failed rebuttal. Try to rebuttal the Gilbert Arenas bar, something about shot himself. I can't be for sure. I think Rock might have thought Gilbert Arenas and Plexico Burress were the same person. I can't confirm, but I think that's why the rebuttal was a bit confusing, because Gilbert Arenas did not shoot himself. But then from there, he gets right into he even kind of jokes on himself and says, I'm getting right into my material. And that's when he starts picking up. The Thanos snap, talk about the cave falling apart again. Thanos snap, I saw my vision die in my hands. I actually thought that was a super clever, should have used that in the first round in my opinion. That was a really good way of putting it. He is this solar system scheme. Listen, it's a solar system, it's a planet scheme, and those are overdone. There's no question about it. I do think he had some clever references within it. I think he did like at least 8 planets. I don't think he did all the planets, but the way he did the wordplay, I thought it was a little different than you usually hear it, especially the Jupiter bar. I like that, but that was cool. From there, of course, he starts really like connecting the pockets. And obviously, like I said, he's rapping the same way he's been rapping recently at a high level across all three, but he really put the energy into the pockets. Like, he knew he was down 1-0. He had to cross the sig out like smoke prevention, the Homer Simpson bar. I mean, it's all connecting and leads up into the connect 4. I just need one round to stop 3 of them things. That was a haymaker. So I can't really like give credit to every bar because there was just so much that he was rhyming, but it was all these little jabs, like 5, 6 added up, and then boom, the connect 4 haymaker. So I thought that was a good middle section of his round, and that leads into another haymaker and kind of a moment in the battle. Scary Movie 2. Give Chef the little arm, like take my strong hand. So that was crazy, and that's pretty much where he ended it. So almost more like condensed in the first watch. Still his best round. I thought there was like a little bit more, but those pocket haymaker, even though it's not, 4 haymakers or just every bar, it's not always going to be that way. There's different ways to rap at an extremely elite level. So I really liked Tay Rock's second. And was back on Chef Trez in the second. He had 3 rebuttals. I forgot to write the third one down. He had a microwave rebuttal that was cool, but then he had one rebuttal in the Thanos bar from Rock about the vision died in my hands, and he says, I feel like Thanos 2 with all these brim and bloodstones in the building. Talk about the bloods in the building. I thought that was crazy. That was a super, and it was a long buildup. It was like a 4 or 5 line buildup, which you saw how Rock just struggled to rebuttal one line. You know what I'm saying? To think Trez made all that just on the spot is crazy. WNBA, now an angel got to handle Rock. Fire. Emphasis. And if I need help, I let the emphasis. I thought that was crazy. He had a wrestling scheme. If I bring guns out, somebody better push SmackDown. I thought that was dope. This might be my favorite bar of the battle. He's talking about Rock's Cody case a little bit. I forgot the whole build up, and he's like, they couldn't make me Cody. I would have talking about. He also talked a little bit about how he had drug addicts back at home, shit like that, people he takes care of. That couldn't have been Cody. I would have took that belt back home, and they'd have relapsed. That whole shit, that is the best probably Cody-related bar I've heard. The way he turned that into real talk. The build-up didn't make you think it was going to be that prominent. I just love that flip. I'm not going to lie. I thought the round was damn near debatable just right there. and he had a lot more. You know what I'm saying? He had the Tay-Rock encounter. It was an almost situation. Talk about a homie who was getting locked up. Then he had some trap talk about buying all these like baby equipment. You know what I'm saying? Then saying now your girl mad at you because she think you got another baby mama. I thought that was crazy. He's really hitting the pockets more than anything here. Is I thought that as great as Rock was rapping, Trez in this round was rapping that. So even as great of a rapper Rock has been, Trez was not just chasing him down in the other categories this battle. He's doing his best shit as good. Like, it really was, I mean, a perfect 2 rounds for him. Hit Rock in the temple like ancient Greece, crazy. If I put him off if I hold him off a cliff edge, would he feel like he died in his hometown? He's from Edgewood. Stupid, bro. So even though Rock's second is his best round of the battle, I still pretty comfortably gave this to Chef Trez. And listen, it's a pretty decent Tay-Rock performance, but it just goes to show this is up there with already 2 rounds in, this is up there with one of the best Chef Trez performances. And then you have the third round of the battle, which I'm sure some of you heard what happened in the third round already. But Rock starts out, couple rebuttals again, but this time wrestling-based rebuttals, because Chef Trez had a couple wrestling bars. He had a crown jewel rebuttal, which was cool. And then the CM Punk go to sleep rebuttal is the better of the two. It was actually really good. From there, he gets to the laser, put him in the red, like insufficient funds. Thought that was dope. Where I'm going to put the chef secret on Mr. Krabs. And I thought that was pretty dope too. But ever so rarely, but now the second time this year for Tay-Rock, he does choke. And he chokes for a minute here. You know what I'm saying? I didn't exactly time it. It might have been actually closer to a minute, maybe 60 seconds, maybe about 40 seconds, but it's significant. He just loses his place. I think he says like that AMG mode be having me fucked up or whatever, but he really just lost his round. He gets it back, and it's kind of funny. You'd think because he choked in his third, that would be his worst round, but content-wise, from what he rapped before and then after, I still think content-wise is better than his first. His first was cleaner, so maybe technically. But when he gets it back, the Sand Trez, they won't understand what you saying, Trez. Thought that was dope. The Dragon Ball Z bars I thought were pretty cool afterwards, too. A couple sand flips. Automatic sound like a sprinkler system. He did the performance and acted out the sound. Thought that was cool. And then the quicksand bar I thought was good, too. But listen, he left it right there for Trez. Easiest round for Trez to take in this battle. Trez starts out the Descent Cave bar. Thought that was dope. I would have caught you in Battle Academy. The mission would have been Egyptian. I would have caught Reed and Rock. Obviously, Rock just battling Reed. Hieroglyphics reading the Rock. Thought that was clever. It'll be a closed casket. They won't let Lady Caution see his dead body. Was kind of like the lead up. And then he said closed casket for Dracula. They wouldn't even let his widow's peak. Obviously, Dracula, with the Widow's Peak, that was stupid. Then he does this concept. Once again, Trez being like very tailored. He's pretty angle heavy in this battle. And he goes down all these times that Rock had almost fall. All these like 3 or 4 different situations. He said that I was the voice of reason. Kept Rock in the corner like I'm spiritual. It was a corner bar, kind of messed it up, but it was supposed to be like corner, like I'm spiritual. And then I mean, I love the Cody bar. I just said that, but this might be his biggest highlight is how are you Dracula, but you're scared to get blood on your hands. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. And the Dracula flips always seem to hit versus Rock. Obviously, him playing into the nickname and the persona so much, but that was a fantastic way to tie, such a classic nickname that he has now, to obviously the almost fight angle. And then he said, smack, sign me. I'll do jobs for URL. You don't even need Jay Black. I'll shoot a motherfucker's face off. Crazy, man. So the rumors were true, watching it. It's a decent Rock performance, but obviously, he had already admitted to the loss on camera. And I was really watching. I mean, if he admitted, I figured it would be a 2-1 clear, but I will say I do have Chef Trez, even with the second being closer, clearly winning, obviously, the third and all 3 rounds of this battle. And Chef Trez, what a career for him all these years. 2016, 2017, I thought is when his name was primarily buzzing. Obviously, he's had tons of work and tons of plates since then. But I feel like recently was the most noise around his name these past 2 years. And I've been saying this is the best he's ever been. He's getting more top-tier wins, which I always thought was what was holding him back before. And now he walks away, in my opinion, with a clear 3-0 over Tay-Rock. And that is my thoughts on the battle itself. And now, quickly want to address what this does really for either battler. The first one I'll talk about is, because I've already talked about it a lot, is Trez, where he was fantastic last year. And if you're really starting to see now, I think the T-Top loss, although he was good, I thought T-Top really leveled up on him. T-Top, to me, still his rounds for Chef Trez, 3 of the best that I've heard this year. And for a minute, I thought that put his momentum back, but he still had the Fonz battle, the Los Preem battle, obviously the Av battle. I know he battled Coach Corleone, did a couple other side missions. I feel like I'm forgetting a big battle or two. I know he battled Excel. But now you get this where I thought he would compete with Rock. I said it'd be a debatable battle. I did have it going in Rock's way, but to very clearly win all 3 rounds versus Tay-Rock, considering the year he's having. I've been saying that I already saw Chef Trez as like a top 10 Cody guy this year. There was already a very good chance of that happening. I thought he was having another elite year, just not as elite as last year. But doing something shocking like this, he was asked to be good. I always say that. If it was a good debatable battle, if he put up a fight, people would still be giving Trez the praises they have. But he went and he did something great. It's snatching respect in a sense. And now with a 3-0 win over Rock, it shakes everything up, right? There's going to be all types of conversations. But while we're going to talk about Rock here in a second and kind of where, what it does to the bigger scope of battle rap, don't forget Trez did it, and he's been doing some special shit this year. I thought him and Av was debatable too, and we know the type of year Av is having, which makes you realize what type of year is Chef Trez having. So got to give him all the credit in the world with that one. Then obviously, this is a tough one for Rock. A lot of respect for him to go in front of the cameras after, already admit to the loss before the footage ever got to anyone. And it's not that he's bad in this battle. I will say, wrapping closer to the time limits, it makes it a little bit easier to possibly take an L here or there. But his material's good. Like I said, this one is clearly going to be more, well, he choked. So we got to give him, that's a rough one, you know what I'm saying? But this is also more about, even in the 2 rounds he was clean, Trez was just better than him. I actually think if Rock didn't choke in the 3rd, it's the 1 round he could have gotten. But it definitely puts a wrench in things, man. And it doesn't mean that he's not still having an elite year. I know a lot of people, all of a sudden, all of the older debatables were turning into losses because he had lost to Jazz. And I thought that, each battle is its own conversation. But listen, this is right there with the Jazz loss. In a lot of ways, it's similar, where he's not bad versus Jazz either, but somebody in front of him is clearly better than him for 3 rounds. So yeah, listen, the Chef Trez stock, you know what I'm saying, was already up and going up, but it takes us a huge surge, and now there's going to be some questions for some people. I'm sure over the next few days, you're going to see all types of opinions on Tay-Rock, some dramatic opinions, some critical, but some of that, when you're the biggest star and you do take a loss, especially with the spotlight he's been under recently, some of that's going to be, warranted and fair conversation. So in terms of what it does to Rock's Cody run, there's some other people smiling right now, you know what I mean? Do I think that it puts him right out of it, anything like that? No, that's what dramatic people are going to tell you, but it certainly adds a new chapter and an extremely big talking point to the conversation when you talk about everyone and who's had the best 2024. But now, so as every video, man, I want to know what you guys think in the comments down below. Of course, I'm hoping that you watch the battle. If you haven't, why are you here? I appreciate it. Go watch the battle. And then I'd like to hear your opinions. How did you call it? What do you think this does for Trez, not just in the moment, but legacy-wise? This has got to be, considering material and situation, like kind of name, competition, I think it's almost automatically a top 5 Chef Trez performance, extremely key to his career. And then obviously, I'm sure many will have opinions. What do you think about Rock? How do you feel like he did in this battle? And what do you think this does to his overall 2024? But letting you guys know as well, I do plan on putting the Real Sick versus Rum Nitty review out tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with Fonz and Hustle, which was a very good battle, and JC and Hollow yet, which I've not been able to watch. So I'm not sure. I'm going to figure out something for that. But just know Real Sick versus Rum Nitty next review will be out early tomorrow. But it's been J Smo Reviews again here, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to catch you on the next one, man. Peace.